Welcome back to Through It All. This is where you hear testimony that you cannot hear anywhere else. Real, authentic, genuine, real life stories of what people have been through. And today we are so privileged to have Dennis and Susan. They're sharing their story. And before we took a break, Susan was telling us how she didn't want to continue with school, but after primary, then the stepfather said, well, I'm not able to take you or continue with the education. And that made her, heartbroken. And every time she saw students, she would cry and all that. So, welcome back, Susan. Let's hear more about this story. Now you said you are working in, what are you doing and how did you get there?
I'm in the salon.
Yeah.
And I started doing hair.
Okay.
And you know, when girls, when they are growing, if you have a passion in you, you start doing something that you like. Yeah. And I found myself doing the hair. And so my aunt took me in. So I started staying with her and doing hair. And also, I used to read books a lot. Even I was doing hair and I'm reading. Wow. I'm doing hair and I'm reading. My book was always here beside me.
What kind of book are you reading?
I used to just not like stories. I used to read books from men of God.
Okay.
Like not really Bible. Spiritual books. They inspired me a lot. And if I would find any book that is interesting, I would just start reading.
Okay.
And so I remember even sometimes the city council would come and chase us. They will find me the book. They will tell us, where is the owner of the salon? And I will tell them, let me go and call the owner. Then I will go behind the building and I start reading my book. They will find me reading. They would ask me, where do you go to call the owner of the salon?
Oh.
And so I liked reading.
You still read even now?
I still read, but time now. I read sometimes.
Okay.
And it happened that a friend of mine who is called Alice, asked me to come and stay with us because after staying with my aunt and I started earning some money, I took a room for myself. So I moved from her house, not far away from her, but in the same building, and I started staying. So
did you train in the salon work and all that?
I didn't train.
Oh, and so
it was just passion. And so after doing it for a long time, I became perfect.
Oh, wow.
And so, although I trained later on, I'll tell the story if there's still time. And I took a room and I started staying alone. And there's someone in the church where I used to go in CMF. CMF is in Kayole. And there's this girl who said, I want to come and stay with you. And I said no, because I knew girls can also mistreat others. Maybe they want to have a boyfriend or something, or some other things that I didn't like. I didn't like so many people coming closer to me. And also I didn't like them disclosing myself to them.
How did that happen? If I may ask, how did you get there? Like, umekuwa sasa msichana wa kanisa, who took you to church? Who taught you the good behavior?
Okay, about church, I think God had been with me from the beginning, even when I was home. Because my mother also became born again when I was still growing. And so I joined that life. So I knew to do bad. I knew if I do this, I'll go to hell. So I feared going to hell. And also, I knew that if you mixed up with boys, you may get pregnant. And I used to see girls getting pregnant and bringing children to their homes. So I feared that.
And you didn't like that?
I didn't like that. I feared that. And so that's why I kept myself from mixing a lot with girls and boys.
Were you desiring one day you'll get married? Or?
I desired. And because although I remember that time there's a time I told God, I was in class 6 or class 7. And I could see the life that my mother and my dad used to live. And I didn't like it at all. But I never said I won't get married. One day I was going with a jerrycan of 5 liters to fetch water. And I stood somewhere and I told God, God, I want to get married one day. And I would want to do a wedding. I was in class 6. Na hiyo story nikamaliza. I didn't know that Mungu alikuja kunikumbusha later on when I got married.
Class 6.
Class 6.
Wow.
And
But
so
at home you don't have a good example of marriage.
I didn't have.
And now here you are married to
Now
Dennis.
I am married.
Fast forward, let us know, how did you get to meet this gentleman?
Well,
Or who should tell the story? Who?
I can.
Okay, you can start with
I can start the story by saying I was talking about a girl who asked me to stay with her, and so I told her no, but she insisted, and she was staying with the parents. So what happened? I told her, after insisting a lot, we were in the same group of dancing in the church.
Okay.
So I trusted her. So she came, she used to be in KU. She was doing a degree in teaching, and she was about to finish. So she asked me, can I please come and stay with you for a while?
Yeah.
By the time we graduate, I'll know what to do. I just want to move from my parents just for a while. So I agreed. And so when they were doing the exam, the final exam, and she told me, Susan, I have an idea. And this idea came with our lecturer saying, these opportunities in South Africa, and they want us to apply or we go there. And I told her, it's a good idea. And she said, yeah, you can go ahead, take a passport, visa, what, just go ahead.
To go and do what in South Africa?
Teaching.
Oh.
Yeah, she was doing teaching in the university. So she said, I want to go, but not alone. I want to go with you.
Oh.
And I said, oh, it's a good idea. Me, I don't have to look for a passport. I had already had a passport.
You had a passport already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, along the way, kuna msichana aliniambia anaenda South Africa ni apply. Na vyenye alienda akanisahau. Nikakaa na passport yangu.
Okay.
And so I used to talk. I want audience to hear this. It's a testimony.
Yeah.
I applied that passport and I kept it in the drawer.
Okay.
And every time I used to talk to it. I opened the drawer, I talked to it. I applied you so we can travel. So look for your own opportunity, take me there. And I closed.
Wow.
So,
speaking faith, eh?
Yes. So I spoke to that passport until Alice, that friend of mine, came in. And so she told me we can go. I used to save. And I told me I will not look for money.
Yeah.
You just apply and let's go.
To South Africa
to
now.
South Africa now. So what happened, there's a friend of hers, there's a friend of her mother, a bishop who used to travel to South Africa and Botswana. So she organized for me and her to go to South Africa. And so
by plane or bus? Or?
We traveled by bus simply because they used to go place to place in conferences. It's a mission of conferences. So they had arranged a conference for Tanzania for 2 weeks, Zambia for 2 weeks, and then Botswana for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we'll be traveling with them.
Okay.
Throughout the travel and the conference, we will be there.
Okay. Okay.
So that's what we did. We organized, she got the passport, they decided we are going through Botswana. So if it's a visa, we are going to apply for visa for South Africa. It's just a neighboring country.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
Okay. Okay.
So we started the journey. We did all those conferences until we reached Botswana.
Wow, long journey.
So in Botswana, what happened? The bishop that we found there is a she, and in 2 weeks' time, we stayed in that conference, and that woman liked us.
Okay.
And she said, because we are traveling to South Africa, she told the pastors we were with, that bishop, but he's late now. He told them, please, I'm asking for these girls. Please leave them for me. And so he had no choice but to leave us in Botswana.
Okay.
So we were left in Botswana. We didn't proceed.
Okay.
But he said South Africa will be going for visiting. It's a good place to visit. So we stayed there.
To do ministry, or what are you doing?
So Alice was going to South Africa to do teaching. This bishop, she's called Bishop Rose. She said, I'm going to look for them the permits for work.
Oh.
So that's what she organized for work permits for us. Me, I was doing hair, and I was doing head massage. I was given a script to be, I had not done massage before.
Yeah.
So I would read. I was a clever girl. Usiona huyu msichana wa class 8. Na bado sijaenda high school, nitamwambia mahali niliendea high school.
Wow. Bado ulienda high school?
Bado nilienda high school. Wow. Yes.
Wow.
I was a clever girl. I would read the script, hiyo nini, alafu ninafanya massage. I used to do head massage. Head massage is done from head to the shoulders. And I used to get my pay.
Wow.
Yes. So from there, we stayed in that church, and that's how I met his sister. So I didn't know him before, Pastor Lucy.
So they are in Botswana?
Yeah, in Botswana. They had said they are more, and so...
You're meeting fellow Kenyans there?
Yeah, fellow Kenyans. If you see a Kenyan, even Kiswahili itself, you tell, this is a Kenyan, tumusalimie ni aje.
You're meeting in the church now?
We meet even in the streets. You hear somebody speaking Kiswahili.
But for them, you met in the church?
We didn't meet in the church because we are not in the same church.
Whether umekutana with the sister?
With the sister, we met along in the streets. Mali nilikuwa naenda browsing. You see, nilikuwa najua mpaka computer. I was browsing.
Wewe uko mbele.
Nilikuwa naenda kubrowse. Alafu the next office was the sister's office.
Oh.
So I knew there's a Kenyan there.
Okay.
So we used to look for each other, you know.
Okay.
Because you would know a Tanzanian, you know a Kenyan, because of the Kiswahili.
Oh.
And so that's how I met her sister. And we started being friends.
Okay.
Yes.
And that led you to meet this gentleman?
That led me to meet him.
Wow. After how long? How long had you stayed there before you met?
Before we met, I had stayed for 3 years, for 2 years actually. 2 years.
Okay.
Yes, before I met him. Because Pastor Lucy, I met him before, kama 1 year hivi.
Okay.
Na tulikuwa na relationship, nilikuwa naenda kwake. Lakini sikuwahi pata huyu. Ya mwaka yote, almost 2 years. Until one day.
One day.
Yes.
One day.
Yes.
Let's hear one day. What happened that day?
Wow, it was a nice one day, and I was at home. I was not working on a Saturday. Actually, we went to Botswana the same year. In 2004. It's only that we didn't know each other. Yeah.
She didn't know that you were there.
She didn't know that I was there. Yeah, and that evening, my sister was going for a fellowship. And she didn't have, she asked me to escort her to the bus rank. And I took her to the bus rank. And when I got her to the bus rank, there were no, the matatus to her place and already gone. Now I had no option but to take her to her house. I took her to her house.
Oh, you drove her?
Yeah, I drove her.
Oh, you were driving there?
I was driving there. Yeah, so I took her to her house, and when I took her to the house, she told me she was going for there was someone, a friend of theirs who was bereaved or something. Eh?
Yeah, we were going for a sleepover for a friend. Yes.
Okay.
So I took her to the place. Then from there we started talking, but no relationship. Just talking, but which lasted for.
Are you sure the bus was not there, or you wanted to?
They were not there.
She said they were not there.
They were not there because they finished very early.
I thought ni mpango alipanga mabasi imeisha, sasa nimpeleke.
Zinaishanga saa 2:30. It was past 8:30.
So there you started a relationship.
We didn't start a relationship. We started ile tu hiyo friendship.
Kujuana here and there.
Ile tu hi, unaendeleaje?
Yeah. Are you in the same church this time?
No.
No, you're not. So how long did it take you to get married after that? Or how did it happen that you met and you decided we are going to get married? Was it because both of you are Kenyans and you are in a foreign country, or how did it happen?
No, literally, I think it took us long because actually, even when we met her, she used to refer me as Mr. Ireli that time. So
yeah, because
she was pushing the distance. The distance was quite big.
Mr. Ireli?
Yeah.
When you were old?
He was called Mister because he's teaching children. He's a teacher. So he's a Mister.
He's a Mister.
So there was a big gap. So now to bridge this gap, to make it closer,
yes, the lecturer.
It took long to bring the gap closer. And
so being in Mr. Ireli and become Dennis.
Yes, now there's to step down.
And remember, I didn't like boys closer. You see.
Was he coming for haircut?
Yes.
Did he used to come for haircut where you are working? Was he coming for the head massage or anything?
No, I never even told him I was doing, as in I'm in a place at doing this. He knew that I travel. He knew that I'm in Botswana, I go to Zambia, I go to Zimbabwe. So I used to go get things, come and sell in Botswana. I used to, people, as I was doing this massaging thing and these other things like hair also, I was doing hair. I met a friend, a pastor from Zambia. Me, life yangu imekuwa connect na mapastors. A pastor was getting married and he told me that he's getting to a girl in Zimbabwe. So I have to go and make her her hair. I have to do makeups. I have to go and advise what to use for her wedding, what.
Okay.
Wow. So anytime when I want to go out of Botswana, I used to tell him why I don't know.
Now you know.
Now I know. I'm going to Zambia, okay. I'm going to Zimbabwe, okay.
Okay. Wow. The relationship is growing.
Yeah. So still growing slowly by slowly.
Wow. And then you got married. Which year did you get married?
We got married in
2008.
Yeah.
2008. Still in Botswana?
No.
Oh, now you had come back.
We planned and we came back to Kenya and we did our wedding here in the same church where I used to.
By the time you're coming back, you have decided now you are going to get married.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you got married. How long have you been married now? Tell us about
2008 to
16 years or something.
Wow.
16 years.
Wow, you still look like you just got married. Young.
The grace.
Wow. So how has the journey been? Marriage life and children. You said you have how many children?
You have 2 children.
Okay.
Yeah.
How has that journey been?
Marriage life
Any
is
struggles, any challenges?
Marriage life is not very easy, but I would still tell those who are yearning to get married that it's just about how you take it, because like you take it to be hard, it's going to be hard to you. You take it to be if you allow God to guide you, then it's going to be easy for you. Because I would say that we have passed through a lot in life, but even beyond what we have passed through, we still find God coming in through.
This program is called Through It All.
Yeah.
So tell us 1 or 2 things you have passed through that was difficult in your marriage life.
Yeah, like I would say that right from the time we got married to each other, we passed through different strives, and one of the strives that we we underwent when we just got married too, is that I was not working in Nairobi, because when I came back, I left my job and terminated my contract when it was just a month, I think 2 or 3 months old, and a new contract. But I decided, let me come back. And the reason why I came back was because I wanted to come, and one of my siblings asked me to come and take care of my parents. My parents are aging, and that time they were quite a bit sickly, and I just wanted to come and maybe help as I work, because he had started something up in the farm that he wanted us to work in the farm. So when I came, I went to Narok. That's where I was working, and I left her in town. So we were just newly married. I think I stayed in the house for 3 or 4 days. I left her, and
after marriage, after the wedding.
After the wedding.
After the wedding, we stayed for 1 month, and he left.
Yeah, something like that.
Very early.
Yes. And I fell sick. I've never stayed alone.
Wow.
And when the doctors checked on me, they saw nothing. Waliniambia wewe tafuta watu karibu. Na wao.
Don't stay alone.
Ugonjwa ni kuachwa.
Sijai kaa peke yangu.
So that was tough.
That was tough.
Yeah. So you do not advocate for long distance marriage.
No, in marriage, you marry so that you can stay together.
Stay together.
And if you cannot stay together, then it means you invite other things to start happening.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. It's good for people to stay together.
Yeah.
Susan, what are some of the challenges, maybe 1 or 2 you have gone through in marriage that comes to mind that were difficult?
Challenges have been there, especially financial. Financially, we've been struggling, and I've never had a stable job. Naona kama hii salon I had a salon, but when I got a baby, I closed. Because there's no one to take care of it. I left people working there. They are not even able to pay the rent, so I closed. So after the baby is grown, I go back now to restart. Then he's also here now. He's not stable financially, so we find ourselves struggling. But through it all, God comes in and encourages us, and we feel, oh, we are better. We stand again. We continue, and we've seen God in so many ways. And even you see, when you allow God to come into your marriage, unaona ni kama mlioana juzi. Like for now, tunaona kama tulioana Saturday kila. And we are almost 16.
I wanted to ask Susan and Pastor Dennis, with all those challenges, financial challenges that they have been going through, and Pastor Dennis working very far from her. I remember there is a time that he was also doing something in Meru, and he was not near them. What is it that has kept their friendship, and their marriage together? Maybe I would wish to hear that from you, Pastor.
Yeah,
with all those challenges, financial challenges, she never thought of leaving and going.
What I thank God for is I think God blessed me with a friend before a spouse.
Wow.
I take her like my friend. So whenever I am in anything, I know I have a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah.
So if I have a challenge, she'll come home and she'll ask me, hey, what has gone wrong today? You look like things are not good today. I disclose myself to her. So she has through the years she has learned. She has learned my moods. She has learned how to bring me from this mood to this mood.
Yeah.
And I would say that when people are getting married to each other, it's also very important to not to just rush into someone just because you loved each other. There's something that is beyond love, and that is to really look for a friend, because you can last with a friend through any situation that comes on the way. But if it's just someone that you just love each other, love can go.
can go.
can go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is important, Bishop, because there are so many young people who are rushing into getting married because of feelings and or looks. But then they are not taking time to get to know each other and to cultivate friendship, you know, so that even when challenges are there, they start push the friendships are part of it that helps the marriage to keep moving. And I think that is very important, because I have seen and witnessed many marriages go down because of especially challenges and especially the issue of finances, when most couples go through the challenge of finances, and especially the early years of marriages. Most of them, they separate or they have a very rough time, you know, abusing each other or hurting each other, sometimes some becoming violent because the issue of finances has come in, and because maybe the two are not close and they didn't get time to know each other and know and love each other for who they are, not for what someone has. By the time they were getting married, I understand he was a lecturer, and now they have come back to Kenya. Pastor is not working. He is trying out businesses here and there. She's also trying out business. Remember, they were in a foreign country, coming back to Kenya. They're trying to settle down and all that. And so without that friendship, because what I hear is that they really worked on cultivating their friendship. Susan, even before they gotten married, anytime she's traveling, she's calling him, you know, just to get to know how he's doing and update him on also what she's going and what she's doing. And I think that is very important for the young people, in marriage. I think it is important for us to cultivate friendship. It really helps in marriage. Yeah.
That's true. Be friends. As much as you are a couple or spouses, it's good to be friends. Friends can share anything and they share life together. Well, time is really gone, but probably you can share with us other losses and difficulties you have gone through in life, Susan.
Okay, this time we lost our baby, our second born, because the last born that we have is a third born. And it was so difficult for us because the baby was not sick. The baby just died in a mysterious way, because I remember that time I was going to work in the morning just as usual. She would wake up and we would play along, trying to see whether I am going or I am staying with her. She was almost 1.5 years.
Wow.
And that day I remember we were eating a cake in the morning and she was playing, going around and around. And I remember that it was on a Tuesday. On Sunday she was very, very happy. I remember she was playing in the pulpit in the church. I remember one of the pastors chasing her in the pulpit there, and she was very jovial. Little did I know it was the last day to be in that pulpit.
Wow.
And so it went a very hard time.
Which year was this?
It was 2018.
2018.
Yes.
Okay.
2018. And even today it reminds me of her.
Yeah, I know. It's difficult.
Because, you know, when a child is sick or someone is sick, you would say, she tried to fight her life. But you see now, I left the baby okay, and then I'm being called around 5, the baby is not waking up. How is that? How? Even today, I don't know how. Because
was never taken to hospital or admitted in hospital or anything?
No, she was just having, naona hii tudawa twa kukohoa. Hiyo tudi alikuwa nayo ya cough.
Wow.
Na hata alikuwa namaliza hiyo siku.
Wow.
And I was like, the baby has been
so
just
who called
okay.
you?
A house help.
Wewe uko kazini, Dennis ako nje kazini. So she's calling you.
Hata alikuwa Meru.
Oh, alikwambia nini when she called you? Did she tell you? Did she just break the news?
No, she told me I'm trying to wake the baby and she's not waking up.
Wow, that's tough.
And so I was like,
you're in town?
I was working. My salon was in Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, okay. So you rushed.
I just rushed. I was just. Unaona mtu akiambiwa news zenye hukutarajia. Nilikuwa ninasikia ni kama nimechanganyikiwa. Sasa nilifunga tu nikachukua motorbike hapo nje. Sikuenda kutafuta gari. Nikakumbuka nilikuwa na 1,000 shillings nilikuwa nimeshika tu kwa mkono. Sijui nilikuwa nimelipwa ama nilikuwa nimeitoa. I can't remember that time. So when I went home, before I left, I told the girl to take her to a clinic there before I arrive. Wajaribu kuona ni nini by the time nifike.
Yeah.
So I didn't take long. I found them there.
Kwa clinic sasa?
Hapa kwa clinic. Ni ka chemist, but it's also a clinic. There's a doctor who has a clinic there.
Okay.
And so the doctor was not there, but there was attendants. They attended the baby. By the time I arrived, they had my cousins who still around Ngumba. I told them, go and check my baby, and nimesikia iko hivi na hivi, and then muangalie. So they rushed. They went to the hospital, to that clinic, very, very fast. Actually, and a friend of her. By the time they arrived, they had already called a taxi. So when I found them, they were in the taxi, wanted to leave. So wanaenda Neema Hospital. Juu waliambiwa huyu mpelekeni Neema kwa sababu naona tutaweza kumsaidia. So when I arrived, they told me, Mama Daniel, ingia kwa gari. Na wameshika mtoto na wataki nimuone. Mwenye ameshika mtoto wako huko mbele kwa driver. Na wanalia, na mimi naanza kubreak. Na waulize kwani mnipei mtoto? Hapana, Mama Daniel, let's go. Sasa the driver who was driving, alienda kidogo akaachilia gari akaita mtu mwingine. Akasema I can't take them. So we were taken with another driver, and when we reached there to the hospital, the driver himself took the baby straight to the casualty, and so we followed. And by the time they checked, it was an emergency, so they took all the patients outside and they enclosed themselves with the baby. And me and those friends we were with, we were close into another room, which they removed people also. So the doctor who came to break the news, alianza kuuliza maswali. Mtoto alikuwa amefanya nini? Mtoto alikuwa... Kwa nini unasema vitu za past? Unaona?
Past tense.
So I was like, what are you trying to say? Mtoto alikuwa amepewa tu uji, nisikia tu alipewa uji, sijui saa ngapi. So alianza kusema unfortunate.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. So the baby was announced dead.
Wow.
And it was so hard for me. Even when I remember that time, I started headaching.
I know.
So
that's tough.
It was very tough for us. And that's how.
Wow.
But it took a lot of time for us.
This was the second born.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it took a lot of time for us to talk about that story.
Yeah.
And I would not want... I remember one day people, when we were meeting with Women Fellowship, people talking about life or life. I would not talk anything.
Yeah.
Because it used to hurt.
Still hurting.
Yes. But with the time, God is so faithful. He gave us courage to talk about it and to tell God, you can go through anything.
Yeah.
And God can take you out of that. You can go through tough time, and that doesn't mean that you stay there for long, and you will not stay there for forever.
Yeah.
God still gives you courage, and you stand up again.
Amen.
Yes.
Wow, Dennis, you are in Meru.
Yeah, I was in Meru.
How did you get to know the news? How did you come? What happened after that? Before we close.
It was a tough evening. I remember I just embarked from the farm and just arrived. And the one who broke the news to me was one of the local friends, one of my dad's friends. He is also a chaplain in one of the churches. And when he came to tell me about the issue, it's like it's something has happened. We just come. I want us to talk about it, and he called me, and we sat down with my parents, and that's how he broke the news. It was so sad. It was so sad, and it was one of the one of the darkest days in my life.
Yeah. I can imagine that too. So you had to travel the following day?
Yeah, and to travel the following day, but the night was one of the longest nights I've ever slept. Yeah. Because I was feeling like if I was there. I actually was taking all the blame to myself, and if I was there, maybe I would have done this, maybe I would have done this. But later on, as days have gone by, I've come to realize that it is usually the plan of God. And since God knows our lives from the beginning to the end, there is nothing, even as being human, we can do to change God's plan. Yeah.
And that blame is very common, where people blame themselves and they blame each other. Actually, it is taught, I think research has been, or statistics show that a lot of couples that lose a child actually end up divorcing because people are not able to handle. And they'll keep blaming themselves, blaming each other, and then that destroys their marriage. But we thank God for you that God has helped you to continue even after that very difficult life or season of life that you went through. You have been able to come out. And maybe in your closing remarks, what would you tell somebody, starting with Susan, people who are going through maybe similar situation or financial or bereavement, all those kind of challenges? And also in closing, you said you would tell us whether you went to high school. Maybe you can use a half a minute or something. Tell us how did you go back and then you went to high school before we close?
So what I would tell those people who are going through such a time, just trust God. God is so faithful. And there's no way God would, just like a father, a father knows this child is going through this. Maybe he's sick, the child is sick or something, and the father will just leave you like that. Our God is more than a father. So he takes care of us, our feelings, our ups and downs, our hurtings. And when you're hurting, just know that you are not alone. When you're going through that tough time, God is still with you. Sometimes we ask God so many questions, like I asked God, I was in the church that Tuesday. I was practicing the whole day. Then I went back to the work, so I come back home. And then these news are broken. So I used to blame God. Nilikuwa naambia Mungu, kwa nini nimeshinda kwa kanisa tena naletewa news kama hizi. So those things happens, but I want to tell you that God is faithful. Amen. God is still with you, even in that tough time. He's still right there with you, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, how they were thrown in the fire. Them, they knew they are going to be consumed. But they said, even if I am consumed, I am consumed with my God. And so, trust God. And know that He is with you. He will not leave you. He will always take care of you. And the Bible says that whatever happens in your life, whether it is good, whether it is bad, it is for the glory of God. Amen. And know that God is able. Amen.
High school, half a minute.
About high school, when I went to Botswana, I used to limit myself in so many things because you see unakumbuka bado wewe hujasoma, akili nakwambianga, you know. Bado hujamaliza shule. And so to make the story short, long short. When we got married with Dennis, after we got married immediately I told him I want to go back to school.
Wow.
That's how I went back to school. And I went through high school and I finished.
Wow, congratulations. Not too many people do that.
Yes, and so I went through the salon now, nikarudi shule sasa kabisa kusoma beauty, kusoma hair.
Wow.
And I did my diplomas. And so I am a qualified person.
Wow, wow.
Yes.
That is so special to hear that.
Yes.
So Dennis, your final closing word?
Yeah, what I would tell of years to these days that is that in everything that you pass through, God is always there with us. You could be passing through any kind of situation. Life might be hitting you very hard, but God is always on our side, and is there to rescue us when you call upon Him. And there is no time He will ever be tired of us. Your brothers may be tired, your sisters may be tired, your neighbors may be tired, whoever is close to you may be tired. But when you call the name of the Lord, when you understand that you have a Father who will never be tired of you, then you're able to face life. Yeah.
Wow. God will never be tired of you. And Susan says, God is faithful. So, and I agree with you. Pastor Peter, what is your closing remark?
I am taken back to what Susan was talking about, how she would sit thinking about the fathers. She's in a home, there is a father, but he's not, taking responsibility. And I want to speak to fathers that please take responsibilities. All these children that you see out there, and when children are growing, some children in schools are very cruel. And they would say, oh, this one does not have a father. There is no child in this world who does not have a father. And I want to challenge all the fathers, please. If you know that you have a child somewhere, maybe they need you to educate them, and maybe you are well able to do that. Please take makinika, be a responsible father. Don't give birth to children and leave them out there to suffer. Do whatever you need to do and make sure that you take them to school. If you are not able to be there for them, maybe the mother went and, because of this or the other, you can still take care of those children wherever they are. You can look for them and make sure that you support them financially. If they need to be taken to school, make sure that they get good education. Thank you, Bishop.
Wow, thank you. I must thank you so much. I know there's so much you could have shared, and your lives, your story is really an inspiration. You need to write a book because you people have come a long way to get where you are. And for sure, there's a great destiny ahead of you, and we are encouraged to see you, that God has healed your lives, and now you can encourage. And I'm sure so many people have been encouraged through this. So I want to thank you so much. And we didn't have time to talk about ministry, maybe another time. Now they are doing ministry, serving the Lord and preaching the gospel. They're actually pastors at OFC Keno. So, and they're serving the Lord, and now they're blessed with their two beautiful girls. And we thank God for His faithfulness. So, thank you, Pastor Peter also, and thank you all of you for joining us in this wonderful program, Through It All. It's been quite an encouraging time to hear what God is doing through the lives of His people. So, for now, keep strong. Remember, God is faithful no matter what you're going through. Well, like Susan says, there's no season that is permanent. Even the season you're in right now, it's soon coming to an end. For now, bye-bye. God bless you, and see you next time, a time like this, Through It All.